Good morning, everyone. Today I'm test riding a 2024 BMW R1250RT. Pretty much the cop bikes for a lot of people. So I'm back here at San Diego BMW Motorcycles, and just to let you know, they have a whole bunch of brand new 2024 bikes. They have a really cool S1000RR, which is all black. They have a new XR, which is a really neat color scheme. A whole bunch of beginner bikes like the 310Rs, which are really good. A whole bunch of pre-owned bikes because they're going to be getting a bunch of 1200 and 1250 GSs in because people are trading them in for the new 1300. So whole lot of new and pre-owned bikes. So come talk to my man Tracy or Holm and tell him MotoJitsu sent you. So here's something I was just thinking about. So I rode my MT10 here, right? So my GS right now is like my second bike for comfort and passengers and long distance and everything else. And I was thinking, I guess it doesn't really matter what the second bike is because that's my solo fun bike. So my second bike could be for luxury and comfort and long distance. It could be anything. Maybe this bad boy. I've always wanted an RT. I never had one. But it's what, like I said, it's like a lot of cop bikes use this bike. So a couple years ago, I went to a cop bike competition here in San Diego, and the San Diego Police Department and then the San Diego Sheriff's Department were competing back and forth to like who could do the fastest time for the four-man team. So check out these two clips by those guys. There you go. San Diego Police about ready to go. Strong start. You hit a cone, time does not start, and you have to go through the path to travel correctly. So they just did a lead change right there. They all come around right here. Another lead change. Come around. Full circle by the first guy. Another lead change right there. Everybody else goes past him. Everybody goes into the box for one more circle and then come out. First three go left, last one goes straight. Alright, here goes the San Diego Sheriff. They had the fastest time so far, 37 seconds. The next fastest is San Diego PD, but here's the Sheriff. Fastest time so far.
A little better.
Do the lead change right there. Everybody else goes. Another lead change coming up. First rider does another lap. Everybody else goes. Another lead change like that. Go through, go through, go through. Everybody goes back into the box. Now they got to make it out clean. If they touch a cone, the time does not count at all. So they have to all make it through clean. 1, 2, 3. That's how it goes. So the bikes are obviously extremely capable, as you just saw, and this thing with the 2024, it's even more upgraded. So here's the front end of the bike. Pretty neat. It already has the auxiliary lights on there. I like the front end of it. Huh, these must be the blinkers way up here. Huge screen, holy crap. It's like a riot shield for like police or something, but I like how it has the big RT right there, white and black. You ride this around with the auxiliary lights, people will just think you're a cop and just move the hell out of the way. But it comes with the side cases, which is really good. You can lock them. You push this down, open it up. Tremendous amount of storage. You got this little thing right here to keep things secure. But obviously you could take that apart and get bigger stuff in there on both sides. That's a nice feature. 17-inch rims, so you could get, you could put Q5s on this thing. They'll last about 100 miles because of the weight, but you could get real, no kidding, sport bike tires on this thing. It has a tremendous amount of ground clearance, and if this is going to be my second bike, I don't need it to be a high performance cornering machine because that's what that thing is for, so it could just do its job. But it's got an extra auxiliary port right here. This right here, it has a little fan in there, and it's you could charge your phone, a little pocket. And then over here has another little pocket thing, and that's where the key is at for the bike. Keyless, of course, different riding modes. The SOS button is on here. You got the radio on here. You could play your music through the speakers, which is phenomenal. This thing goes up and down. I'll show you that when I'm riding. Cruise control, the menu, everything. Here's the auxiliary light button, the windshield electronic up and down. And these are pre-programmable buttons. You could do it anything you want to. So right now it's programmed for 1 and 2 to be heated grip and heated seat. You just press it on the fly. You could change this one to like your dynamic suspension settings. So if you're on road, all the needles come out for the damping. It'd be like nice and plush and comfy on the highway. But if you're about to hit the twisties, you could just hit the pre-programmable button. If you choose to program it for dynamic damping, then the needles will go back in for the damping, make it a little bit more stiffer. Yeah, big wide seat, comfortable. You could get a top case on here, which is like this big, and then you could literally put anything in there. Two full face helmets, I think. Of course, it's on the center stand right now, and it's real easy to put it up and on there. Even though it's a heavy bike, the center stand is shorter, so it's easy to get up and on. Let me show you real quick since I'm just talking about it. So let me rock it off. It's on the kickstand. So first you go up, right? You push it down and make sure both points of contact are on the ground. And I'm just pulling my hand that way and then just stepping with my weight. See? Super simple. Really nice feature. You get the tires off the ground. You can clean the rims, especially with the silver rims. Those things will get dirty, so get in there and clean them up. So let me take this thing off again. All right. Jumping on it for the first time. So I'm 5'9", 32-inch inseam, and ironically, the 1300 GS that I just rode and reviewed, you could check out this thumbnail right here. My heels were flat on the ground because on the 1300 GS, it automatically lowers for you, and then as you start rolling, it raises it up. And every time you come to a stop sign, it lowers, and it raises up as you start rolling. But right now, my heels are not on the ground. Like I'm just on my tippy toes. Like my heels are about this far from the ground, but still, they're not flat on the ground. And the interesting thing about these bikes specifically, the mirrors are down below. They're not like up like you would see almost every other bike. So it does take some getting used to. Kind of gotta adjust a little bit. And I really don't know what I'm looking at. There you go. So if I just look down on my eyes, I kind of see the top of the top case. And then I'll be able to see behind me a little bit of handlebar right there. But it's kind of a weird thing that people have to get used to. But anyway, look at the startup screen, big old 10-inch screen. It's like a freaking iPad. Look at that. That is awesome. So like I said, pre-programmable buttons. So number 1, got the heated grips, 1 through 5. It's nice outside, so I'll just leave them on, like my hand's a little bit warm, so I'll put them on 2. And how hot do I want my butt? 5 settings as well. I don't need my butt too hot, so I'll just put it on 2. But if you go into the menu, you go into the settings and everything, you get the BMW app and you connect GPS, navigation, you get the radio going on, all kinds of stuff. And then the cool thing about this bike, half the screen could be the speedometer and RPM, and then the other half can be the GPS. But if you go into the settings, you could do anything you could imagine. It has everything in the world. Just go through and customize the crap out of this thing. It does only have the one screen unless you split it, and then this side would be GPS and this side will be the RPM. But I'll leave it like that. And then riding modes, I got dynamic, eco, rain, road. So I'll leave it in dynamic. All right, that feels good. That feels good. Got the electronic windshield. Look at this. Let's see how high it comes up. Oh my gosh. Wow, all the way up. So I know the camera looks like I'm looking through it, but my eyes are, 2 inches higher than the camera, so I'm looking over top of it. So I'll leave it down for now, and then I'll put it up on the highway to see the difference. I'll put it all the way down. There we go. I'll just see how that goes. All right. It's in road damping, so it's nice and bouncy. But if I put in dynamic, it'll tighten everything up. But all right, let's go see how it is. So one thing that's a little surprising about the bike right off the bat is the foot pegs are pretty high, and your knees are nice and high up in these slots. So you're kind of sitting in a, just imagine you sitting down in like a kid's chair. Like, how your knees would be pretty high up. That's kind of what this feels like. So it's definitely from your hip to your knee to your ankle. That position is definitely more acute. It's definitely more crunched than the GS. The GS has a little bit more leg room. And on the GS, if you want to, whenever you want to, you could just stand up and ride. Here I could kind of stand up, I'm pretty bent over. But the GS, I could just stand up 100% and still cruise around the highway. So that's one big difference. But this bike, for how big it looks, it is extremely agile. Like, look at this. This thing feels like it's a 250. Look how fast I can do this. And I'm just taking it easy because it's in road damping and it's kind of bouncing around. But if I put in dynamic and tighten it up, brakes are absolutely phenomenal. Like, really, really good. But this thing feels incredibly light. Very, very agile. I mean, look at those cops. Look what they did on the bike. So it's extremely agile, but it's very, very, very comfortable. That's one thing right off the bat. The foot pegs and everything is high. Your knees are crunched up, but there's like a lot of plastic surrounding your body. You see what I'm saying? Like your knees really fit into these grooves right here, and there's not much of your body that's exposed to the wind, so you can ride this thing at a high speed for a very long distance and you'll be pretty good. Only thing here in California, it's a kind of a wide bike, so it'll take you a little bit to get used to if you're lane splitting. But the cops do it, and they have even wider bikes because they have the crash bars and all their lights and all their whatever the hell they have. But then again, if a cop is coming up behind you on a big old bike with all their lights, you're probably going to move out of the way and give them more room anyway. But of course, quick shifting up and down is, you know, good, just like the GS, pretty much the same exact motor. There we go. I got a little bit of time. Let's see if I could go back into the settings. Whoops, and not stall the bike. I thought it went into neutral. So back into settings. Vehicle settings. Nope. Assist. Damping. Dynamic. There we go. So what that did, it pushes all the needles into the hole. So now it'll be less bouncing around, or it should be anyway, than it was before. Like on my GS, I keep it in road on the highway, and then if I go hit some turns, I put it in dynamic, just to tighten everything up so it's not so bouncy everywhere. Anyway, that's the all that is, going up to speed, with the windshield down, by the way. With the 17-inch rims and just the way the bike is, it's very easy to maneuver around. When people complain about the weight of the bike, it's mostly a lack of skill. The weight disappears once you get rolling. The only time you ever feel the weight of a motorcycle is whenever you're stopping and starting and taking the bike off the kickstand. But you don't even feel the weight of the motorcycle doing low speed turns because it has nothing to do with strength, just the technique of the clutch and what you're doing. So if you hear anybody or you yourself say the weight of the bike is an issue or feels heavy, you're just not that good of a rider. Sorry. Alright, so here it is down. I'm feeling wind like directly on my face, so let's put the windshield all the way up. Let's get this riot shield to work. And just like that, I now feel literally, the only time I feel anything is kinda on the outside of my forearms. There's a slight breeze. That's it. But it is pretty high, even though my eyes are technically looking over top of it, it's just barely. So the line on the shield is kind of like in my direct path of where I want to be looking. So, but the good thing is you can lower it as much as you want. Like I'm just doing one little click at a time. It doesn't click, but you know, just one little push at a time. So right there is a lot better for me. It still provides the same wind protection. I don't feel anything different, but it's not directly in my line of sight. So that's cool that you could adjust it by, you know, the millimeter. Just as much as you push it, it'll go down a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So look, I'm just going down a tiny bit at a time. Even right there, it feels like the same wind protection. So that's a nice feature. So I'll put it right about there. Man, these heated grips are freaking warm. Let me go down to my pre-selector down here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, turn it off. And then the heated seat. 1 off. There you go. I don't need that stuff on right now. It's nice outside. 60 degrees here in sunny San Diego. Feel out the power. Yeah, just like my GS. And I gotta say my GS now because I just test drove the 1300 GS, and that bike is like the XR and the GS had a baby, and that's the new 1300 GS. Engine is different, the gearing is different, very sporty, quick, easy to turn. It feels like a sport touring bike other than a GS. And that engine is definitely a lot quicker, it shifts a lot quicker, it gets up to speed quicker. So, but this feels like my 1250 GS because it is the same exact engine, the 1250. But very comfortable. I love the big windshield, not feeling much wind. So if this is my second bike of you know, passengers, long distance, luxury, going to cop bike courses, just kind of chilling out, long, you know, things like that, this would be it. The only thing about this bike is it's not designed for off-roading. So my GS, it could do everything this thing can do, plus it could do off-road stuff, but still have the luxury. But you don't have as much plastic, you don't have as much wind protection. So if I never planned on doing any off-road at all, then I'd probably buy this. Or maybe I go do some off-roading on my GS that I have now,
And I'm like, yeah, you know what, but I rarely do it, and when I do it, you know, I'd rather have a smaller, lighter bike for the dirt, so maybe I'll go trade it in and get something like this for the second bike. So that's pretty much like my goal now with bikes, is I have one bike that's for passengers, long distance and comfy and just kind of chill riding, bad weather, you know, things like that. And then I have the MT10 for fast solo riding. But this big 10-inch screen is amazing. It's so clear to see anything you want to see. And I love the idea that even though I have a Cardo, I could just have my earplugs in, and then I could turn on the radio or connect my phone and play my own music and just blast it through the speakers. That's pretty nice. Of course, it would be, if I blast it too loud, it'd be super annoying for everybody else that don't want to hear my music. But the speakers are pretty nice. And the mirrors, I don't even have to turn my head. I can just look down with my eyeballs, and the mirrors do a really good job. They're surprisingly effective, even though they're kind of weird, and it will take some time to get used to. But I'll point my camera down there so you can see. So you see what I'm looking at? You can see directly behind you for sure, and you can adjust them as much as you want. But it does a very good job of looking behind you, which I think is the whole purpose, right? But one thing I like about this over the GS is this is obviously more street oriented. It's just pretty much a street bike. But this has the 17-inch rims. So the GS, obviously, because it's off-road, has the 19-inch rims, but it's a little bit more, it's less options for tires. But because it's the dual sport bike, you can get the dual sport tires like I have on there right now, the Trailmax, the Dunlop Trailmax Missions. But on here, if you do mainly street riding, it's 17-inch rims. So it's the same 17-inch rim side as like my MT10. So I can literally buy Q5s for the MT10 and Q5s for this bike if I really wanted to. That'd be a hell of a interesting thing. And I wouldn't do that because this bike isn't fun, fast, you know, riding. That's what the 10 is for. But I'd put, you know, some kind of triple compound tires on here, or whatever tires came on here stock, they'd be perfectly fine, because I wouldn't be ripping around so incredibly fast on this and taking this thing to the track, even though you could. But that's what the second bike would be for. But yeah, the maneuverability of this bike is pretty surprising. I mean, now it's in dynamics, so it doesn't bounce around so much. Look at this. It's like nothing. I'm telling you, this thing feels like, I was kind of exaggerating when I said a 250, but let's say it feels like a 600, like a 600cc, like naked bike or something. Like that's what it feels like. It's big, and it's like, wow, that's a big bike. It must be heavy. The weight of the bike, and it's very intimidating. But until you go test drive the thing and really feel it out, look at 90 miles per hour. I'm flicking this thing around like it's nothing. Just counter steering, push, 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 push. Yeah, it's very easy to maneuver this bike. So don't be intimidated just because of the size of it, unless you've actually test rode it. Otherwise, you're just making assumptions about something you don't know. Got the power. Yeah, it just pulls very easy, just like the GS. Tons of torque, tons of power. You can load this thing fully up with the passenger, and it'll do perfectly fine anywhere. It's very, very, very good. Like I said, it's comfortable. Like with all the protection of the wind, that's another thing about this bike. It has so much plastic up top, like all around the front end of it, that my legs, so if it's raining, I'm not going to get wet. It'll be a little bit of wetness, you see what I'm saying? So because of all the plastic is covering me in the big old Riot windshield, especially if I put it all the way up there, like I'm going to really cut through the wind, or cut through the wind and the water. So if it's raining, this thing would be super protective, versus the GS, a whole lot less plastic obviously, so my legs will get it, I'll get a whole lot more on my shoulders and whatnot, but this is very protective. The wind protection on this thing is absolutely phenomenal, aka any protection. I hit a bird, I go through a bunch of bees, but you'll be spending a lot of time cleaning that windshield to make sure it's perfectly clear, but that's better than cleaning all the bugs and whatever else off your gear. Yeah, I don't know, maybe they'll give me a deal for my 2022 GS if I trade it in to get something like this. And they probably, I mean, the features, the newest features of the 2024, like the SOS, I really don't care, whatever, you know. But they might have a pre-owned RT with this big screen, and maybe I could do a trade for trade on that one. We'll see. But I'm gonna go over here to the parking lot and get off the bike and do a little walk around and do some low speed turns or whatnot. But obviously everybody knows it's already super capable, because I just showed you what those guys did on the cop bikes. But just so I could do it once again, just to show you. And I'm gonna get off on this exit because this turn is a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna kind of take the turn fast and do some trail braking and whatnot. This car doesn't go off in front of me, which I think it is, so. Might have ruined that one for me. Nope, are you going straight? Oh, okay, awesome. I can do it again. Downshift, trail brake off. Neutral throttle, wait till the bike gets pointed, wait till the bike gets pointed, wait till the bike gets pointed, okay, gotta brake again. Yeah, very maneuverable, very good bike, a whole lot of protection. You don't feel the weight at all. It feels super light, extremely capable, long distance touring passengers, and you have the added effect of people think you're a cop, so they get the hell out of your way, which is always a good thing. Let people, like, I want people to see me. Well, how else what's a better way to be seen by people thinking you're a motorcycle cop? Because here in Southern California anyway, a lot of people use these bikes for cop bikes, so they're like, oh crap, a cop, and get out of the way. Like, yay, thank you for paying attention and getting out of my way for me. Of course, big old parking lot. I mean, obviously this thing's extremely capable, but I'll just do some turns. Yeah, the handlebars turn forever. Like, I'm not even at full lock yet, and look at this. This is probably, there's full lock. This is probably a 18-foot U-turn at least, and I barely have any lean angle, so this thing could easily do like 16-foot U-turns. I could just sit here all day. It's so effortless. Very, very easy to do low-speed stuff on this bike. It's just extremely capable, and yeah, it's just a well-made street bike. So the purpose of this bike, if you use it for what it's for, you'll love it. Like I said, all the things I've said a million times already. So long distance, passengers, luggage. You don't have to worry about a chain. It has a center stand. All the technology you can imagine. People think you're a cop. All the protection of the wind. You see, this is the big cutout I'm talking about. So all this stuff, your leg goes in here, and all this plastic, it all protects your whole body. So if you go through a rainstorm, you're not going to be that wet. And it has a good amount of ground clearance. So if you want to take it in the twisties, this is your only bike. And it has a tremendous amount of ground clearance and capability at high and low speed. So the main thing that's only the difference, which is the same thing for any bike, is the technique of the rider. The skill of the rider is what matters. But yeah, for a second bike, I got the MT10, and then right now it's the GS, but maybe this will be my second bike. It's pretty cool. And it comes with the auxiliary lights down there, but I would probably still add myself clear waters and maybe like have another set come off, maybe like up here or something. Just for fun. Like the cop bikes, they got like 10 lights on this thing. But it's a sharp looking bike. I really like the overall look of the thing. It's very pretty, very sleek design, like the big chrome muffler, single-sided swing arms, or the gray rims. Brembo brakes. Brakes are phenomenal, of course. A lot of capability with the luggage. Yeah, there we go. It is very, very nice. I'll go around and check out the back again. Yeah, real good. Big old blinker. Brake light, big old combination thing right there. Got a nice big mud flap to prevent the water and whatnot to jumping up all over the bike. You could take the cases off if you want to. Just put a top case or leave the side cases on. It's a nice bike. Heated seat for the passenger as well. So if you want to come right on the back with me, your buns will be warm. Nice big wide flat comfy seat. My seat's very comfortable. Nice and plush and cushy. Got a big old gas tank on this thing as well. I think it's a 7-gallon gas tank on this bike, so you won't be needing fuel. And look at that, I think the windshield went down by itself, because I don't remember lowering it. Did I lower it? I don't think so. So I think it does it by itself whenever you turn off the bike, which is pretty cool. Well, there you go, San Diego PD. Maybe they think I'm a cop. Like, oh, is that Johnny? Nope, it's not Johnny. I'm not a cop. But maybe you think so. But yeah, sitting in the bike fits you like a glove. Where your knees are. If you just go up in your tippy toes a little bit, your knees rock right into that little slotted position, which feels good. It's nice. Engine is real good, obviously. Bike is good, bike is comfortable, bike is capable. So street riding specific, everything bike. So the GS is all around, I think it's the all around best bike, including dirt. But if you take dirt out of the equation, this bike would be the bike I'd say is the best all around non-dirt bike, non-dirt capable bike. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think. So the GS wins again. Best all-around bike is the GS, which includes dirt, and then best bike for everything else when you're not doing dirt. It's also very good on the street. You could take the GS and only do street riding, which a lot of people do, and is very, very capable. But if you want a little bit more wind protection, a little bit more you know, more choices of tires and whatnot, and you're thinking about the GS between the RT, the simplest question to answer yourself is to ask yourself is, are you doing any dirt? If you're not doing any dirt, and you're doing some distance, because the GS has like, you know, like a 5-gallon tank or whatnot, I'm pretty sure this is bigger. So if you're not doing any dirt, I would get this. But it's a feel thing. Some people like the positioning of your body and the ergonomics better on the GS and whatnot, but they're both insanely good bikes if you only want to ride in the street. Like most people who have the GS probably ride it just on the street. Not many people on the GS that are really taking it some, you know, hardcore off-roading. Myself included, I'm not doing that. I'll probably do some fire brake roads and some light dirt and whatnot, but either way, like anything, like I said in the previous video I just made about the 1300 GS, go test ride it. Go test ride the new GS, the 1300, go test ride a 1250 GS, and then test ride this, the RT, and just see what you like. You'll notice immediately that the ergonomics and the wind protection and blah blah blah. And if you want like the radio and the music, and it's just, what do you want? What are you going to be doing with the motorcycle is what I always ask people. What are you doing with the thing? Are you just going back and forth to work? Well then why spend, what, $26,000 on a mic just to go back and forth to work? It doesn't make any sense. If you're only riding on the weekends and you're only riding fast, we'll get a bike that would be best for only what you do. But if you do everything, if you ride on the highway a long distance, if you like to go fast on the weekend, if you like, so then maybe like a sport touring bike or something like this. So just get a bike that has the tools you want and not much extra stuff you don't want or you don't need. So I'm saying, otherwise, like, you're not using the bike for the purpose of it. You might be wasting money or whatever else. So just spend some time thinking about what am I actually going to do with the bike. Now, these are the things I want out of the bike. These are the features. This is what I'll be doing with it. What bike fits this category? If you don't do any high-speed cornering, you just want to be very comfortable and just cruise around, go long distance, no dirt whatsoever, well then maybe you get like some type of actual cruiser bike, like a Harley or something with bags on it, because that's extremely comfortable. You have a whole bunch of technology and big old gas tank, a lot of luggage capability, no dirt, no off-roading, not much lean angle, but if you don't care about taking corners fast in the first place, maybe that's the bike for you. You see what I'm saying? So just, people I think just need to spend more time thinking about what they want to do. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you, the rider, the person listening to this video, you may only talk to a couple people a week about different bikes, or maybe just your buddies. I've been on my YouTube channel for almost 6 years. I have constant flow, like probably 20 plus emails a week alone of just people asking me questions from all around the world. What kind of bike is this? Hey, I've had this bike for 6 months. I want to get a different bike. What do you think about this bike? Just constant questions about these bikes. And what I'm telling you right now is what I say to all these people in the emails. Spend more time writing down, thinking about what are the pros and cons of the bike you want. What do you want? What will you be doing with the bike? What's your budget? How much is it for tires? How much will it be for insurance? Call your insurance and ask them how much this bike will be insured versus another bike. Just do more research, you know. And then if you go through all of that and then you finally ask me for advice or what my thoughts are on 2 different bikes here and narrowed it down to, and if I rode those 2 different bikes before, which likelihood that I have, then I can give you some very specific advice because you already know what you want. You've already done your own research. But I'm not going to research for you because I don't know your budget, your skill, your capability, what you'll be doing, where you live. I don't know any of that stuff. So you do the work and then email me, and then I can give you some more specific advice. But in the meantime, I'm just going to weave back and forth and play around some more because this bike is freaking awesome and is very capable. And I love it how I can just whip it around back and forth like it's a simple little bike that weighs nothing, even though it doesn't weigh nothing. Rolling on the throttle, just keep pulling. Look at cruise control. Cruise control, 90 miles per hour. I don't feel any wind, so it doesn't feel like I'm going, if I close my eyes, it feels like I'm going 50 miles per hour. Look at 93 miles per hour. And that's a dynamic, I'm pretty sure, cruise. And I barely feel anything. Like outside of the bubble, oh yeah, there's a lot of wind. But right here, like I could have a paper plane right here. There's like nothing, there's no wind. But look at, see how much wind there is outside the bubble? So the windshield is fantastic. Like there's no wind. But right here it's like, you know. Oh look at, dynamic cruise works. That's the first time me actually using it. So it noticed the car and it slowed me down. Now the car is out of the way. Let's see if it goes me up. Look, it's going back up to what I had it set at, which is 93. But it's detecting that car up there now, I think. So that's pretty cool. So you can put it at like 90, and then you don't even have to do anything. So I didn't think that this is the first time I ever actually used dynamic cruise. And I was thinking at first, like, well, I really don't care. But now that I'm actually using it, it's pretty nice. So now you can just chill. I can just go on the highway and not even worry about it. So here we go, I'll switch lanes. Now it should detect there's no one in front of me, and it should start to accelerate back to where I wanted it. And it looks like it's doing it. Yep. That is pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, but okay, let me slow it down. I don't want to get a damn ticket. But it's so easy to go fast. But here we go, I'll put it at, let me get back up, 80 miles per hour, and now I can just sit here and do nothing. The cars come in front of me or whatever, it'll adjust it all for me. That's a pretty nice feature, I gotta tell you. So here we go, I'll purposely stay in this lane so cars are gonna be merging, and I'm sure it'll detect the car. It'll be interesting to see how far it detects it. So far it doesn't. Oh, it's just switched lanes, but there you go. The adaptive cruise control is pretty nice. Very quick, and it doesn't lunge. It doesn't like chop the throttle, or the computer doesn't do anything drastic. It's just a slow decrease of speed. Here we go. Let's see what happens with this truck. So I'm ready with the brakes, but there you go. It detects it. It's slowing down the bike, and there wasn't any big abrupt feeling of the bike. It just did it very seamlessly and very smooth, which is pretty damn awesome. So now it's detecting the semi. Wow, that's very, very nice. Yeah, that is very nice. Let me switch lanes. It'll detect the truck's going faster, so it should speed up. Yep. Now the truck's getting out of the way. Now I have the Subaru in front of me. Man, what a nice feature. What a nice feature. What kind of deal can I get on this bike if I trade in my 2022 GS? What do you think? Here we go. Let me try it again. If I switch lanes, there's no one in front of me. Now it's just speed back up to 80. Yep, immediately. No time at all. That is very, very quick. Very, very responsive adaptive cruise control. No lunging, no aggressive braking, nothing harsh. It detects things very quickly and it adapts immediately. There's no delay. That's pretty damn sweet. Once again, go test ride this bike and the 1300 and the RR and the XR and everything. I don't know. BMWs, people always ask me if I just have something for BMWs. So when I was still teaching motorcycle classes, a couple of my buddies had GSs and I never had one yet. And I was like, man, you have a GS, you have a GS, another person I teach with, they have a GS, what's up with these GSs? And then I borrowed my buddy's bike for the weekend and I was like, oh, I get it now. This thing is pretty awesome. Look at that, didn't even touch the throttle or the brakes yet. It adjusted everything for me. Amazing. But once I rode the GS for the first time and I borrowed my buddy's, I went and bought one probably a couple weeks later. And then every time after that, a different type of bike, sport touring, naked, sport bike, everything, they're just phenomenal machines. They really are the ultimate driving machine, just like the slogan says. It's pretty awesome. Ooh, I wonder if it'll come to a stop. I don't think so. Wow, it is braking for me. It was braking for me. It didn't downshift, but it was braking. I don't know if it'll actually come to a stop. I don't want to test that one out. But for some reason, if I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, it's nice to know that this bike will slow you down even though you're coming to a stop sign or a stoplight. Well, a stop sign wouldn't work because unless there's a car in front of you, right? But there was cars in front of me, so it detected that and it slowed it down for me. Yeah, just like my GS, the torque and speed is very, very good on this bike. There we go. Adaptive cruise again. I put at 56. It's detecting the Subaru. And like, oh nope, we can't go 56. We're going to slow it down. It's pretty sweet. Oh, it's slowing down even more. Let's see. It should slow it down for me. Yep. Braking for me. Now they went out of the way. Now I'm kind of in the wrong gear, but there we go. It does what it needs to do. There's my MT-10 waiting for me. Yeah, circles extremely easy. Easy, easy, easy. Just do some figure eights. Yeah, very capable at low speed stuff. Like, so simple. And I'll park it right here so it's easier for them to put it back inside or whatever they're gonna do with it. I don't want to hit the thing. There we go, that's good enough. Alright.
So man, adaptive cruise control, what a feature that is. And then, okay, oh, I didn't turn off the bike. So let's see. Oh yeah, okay, there it goes. It automatically lowers the windshield back down to the position, the stock down position when you turn it off. Pretty cool. What a machine. It is freaking nice. San Diego BMW Motorcycles, come test ride this exact bike. If you want to, the 1300 GS is in there if you want to test ride it. I'm pretty sure, unless they sold it. And then they have a bunch of other bikes, but there we go. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should I keep the GS? Should I buy this? So this and the MT10, what do you think? These two look good together? This might be the new match made in heaven. Alright, buddy, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys later.